Thanks for downloading a 3CR podcast. 3CR is an independent community radio station based in Melbourne, Australia. We need your financial support to keep going. Go to www.3cr.org.au for more information and to donate online. Now stay tuned for your 3CR podcast.
Sabah al-Khair, good morning dear listeners. You're listening to Radio 3CR on 855 AM and Palestine Remembered with Robert Martin, Nasser Mashni and Yusuf Ahmed al-Rimawi.
Palestine Remembered is Australia's only English-language radio program that is totally dedicated to Palestine. We'd like to welcome those listening on 855 and those that will join us on podcast at 3cr.org.au.
Thanks for joining us. Stay with us and enjoy the episode.
Good morning, Nasser and Robert.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Nasser and Yusuf.
Fantastic to have you here again, Rob. Morning, listeners.
Thank you very much for having me back too. It's been too long.
We've missed you, and our listeners have as well.
Well, I've missed you guys and obviously the listeners, and this is one of my favourite times during the week. Even though we do deal with some very, very serious issues, it is one of my favourite times because you have a lovely laugh. So thank you for having me back.
We should consider having another segment maybe for love song dedications.
Oh, no.
Something to change the atmosphere. Meanwhile, what do we have, Nasser?
Let's break up the romance. But during the week, Yusuf, we had International Radio Day, and obviously because we're on this fabulous medium, care of 3CR, and we thank them once again for giving...
.org.au.
We thank them once again for giving Palestine the opportunity to go out, the voice. But International Radio Day, and we've got a rare recording of a Lebanese singer, Lour the Cash. And interestingly, I only found out today, Yusuf, but Palestine's always been the cultural hub of the Arab world. And until the Nakba in 1948, all the famous Arab singers used to travel to Jerusalem to record their songs. But we've got a rare recording here from the 30s.
On the occasion of the International Radio Day, Palestinian radio program currently in West Bank, in Gaza, even proper Palestine, celebrated this day by special broadcast, by bringing old recordings from their archives. But we want to remember how it all started. Our first Palestinian radio broadcast was in Jerusalem in April 1936. And while it was under the British mandate, the Palestinians who took part in working in the broadcast and in the technical part were the spearhead of resistance back then. So the British mandate wanted them to just be bureaucrats operating a radio station, to maybe just bring to the Arab audience what the British mandate wanted them to bring. However, the staff had another idea. They wanted...
As they would.
As you would, yes, as they would. And they actually turned the Palestinian, or Huna Al Quds, was called Huna Al Quds. Here is Jerusalem, the name of the station. They turned it into a patriotic duty, and they conveyed the pulse of the Palestinian resistance against the British mandate plans and against the Zionist plans. Now, it is enough to mention that the first manager of the Arabian or the Arabic division of that radio station was Ibrahim Touqan. Now, Nasser, Palestinians know very well this person. He was a poet. Unfortunately, he died young, in late 30s, but he was the one who wrote the lyrics of what later became not only the Palestinian anthem, but also the Arab national anthem, Mawtani. Now, we'll come back to the details of this radio, but speaking of Mawtani, Nasser...
Yes, we had a fabulous action by Palestinians within 48 in the West Bank and Jerusalem who went to Safad a Palestinian town that was ethnically cleansed completely.
Completely ethnically cleansed. That's the city of my mother.
Yeah, they went back only a week and a bit ago, reclaiming their roots, and on the shores of Safad, they sung Mawtani.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a bit of that to play now for our listeners.
So what we are going to listen to now is the voices of Palestinians singing Mawtani in the vibrant heart of Safad last week, basically on the 9th of February. Robert?
I was going to say translated by Nasser.
Yes, Nasser will read the translation. Stay with us.
My homeland, glory and beauty, sublimity and splendor are in your hills, are in your hills. Life and deliverance, pleasure and hope are in your air, are in your air. Will I see you, will I see you. Safely comforted and victoriously honoured. Safely comforted and victoriously honoured. Will I see you in your eminence, reaching to the stars, reaching to the stars. My homeland, my homeland.
So that was snippets of the national anthem, the old national anthem of Palestine, Mawtani, chanted by Palestinians in Safad last week, which was written by Ibrahim Touqan. And in fact, it was a reflection of the national spirit of the 1936 revolution against the British mandate, or what we call the Grand Arab Revolution.
Well, let's remember this was a time of failed promise, remembering that the Arabs fought with the Allies against the Axis in pursuit of their liberation from the Ottoman Empire at the end of World War I, and that the energy and enthusiasm and want for independence had swept the Arab world. And whilst the rest of the Arab world was in some parts moving towards independence, though still under protectorates, whether it was the French or British, Palestine was clearly not going to get it.
No, because while the promise of Britain was given to the Hashemites in what was called the McMahon-Hussein correspondences or letters, what the Hashemites did not know that the British had another promise, what later became the Balfour Declaration, and the third one in what later became the Sykes-Picot Agreement, and they were promising France parts of what we thought to be the Syrian Arab kingdom, North Levant. So when we found out, we realized the betrayal, the great betrayal of those who won World War I. And we woke up to be under British mandate, and then the next thing we know was that the British mandate came with policies that were completely complicit with the leaders of the Zionist movement, and facilitated the migration of European Jews to Palestine and the establishment of what later became the institutions of the State of Israel, at the expense of the aspirations of Palestinians, whether Christians or Muslims. Their aspirations of unity with Syria, for example, was aborted. So were their aspirations for independence. Their leaders, their popular struggle leaders, were targeted. Their lands were confiscated. A long list of policies that targeted the Palestinians and paved the road for the establishment of Israel. And of course, the Palestinians resisted in several forms. The most famous and important of which was popular struggle, civil disobedience, strikes and protests. Yeah. And the highest peak of that was in 1936, the Great Palestinian Revolution.
The Arab Revolt.
And the national anthem of the 36 Revolution was Mawtani, the one that later became the national anthem of Palestine, and currently Iraq, not just Palestine.
Oh.
Iraq, after Saddam, wanted to change the national anthem and they saw in the lyrics of Mawtani a uniting meanings, and they endorsed it, and it is still the current Iraqi national anthem. So Ibrahim Touqan was the head of the Arabic division of Huna Al Quds radio station, and Ibrahim and the other people, the other Palestinian, turned it into a patriotic, a national project for the Palestinians and Arab, not only the Palestinians, but also the Arabs. So it became a hub for Arab singers to come to Jerusalem, to come to Al Quds and record their musical tracks. Some of them became very famous. Like back then, they were still the new voices. Like, for example, Farid Al-Atrash and Kulthum even visited Huna Al Quds studios. So in the next recording, we will listen to the original rare recording of a famous Arab song, Aminti Billah, by the Lebanese singer Noor Dakkash. Stay with us.
This was recorded in Jerusalem in 1940 by a Lebanese, Noor Dakkash.
Noor Dakkash. Well done. And this tells you that the Palestinian society before Nakba was a thriving society, was even ahead of other regional societies, most of them. We don't want to say we were the spearhead.
We can. We're Palestinian.
You're allowed to say that. Yeah, we will say that.
Yes.
If we Lebanese would claim everything.
So, we were the spearhead of the region, and we were really ahead in union work, and particularly women movement, and engineers association, for example, doctors association, football clubs, etc., and radio. And this is one example of the thriving society of Palestine.
Contrary to the Zionist attacks to say that there was no culture or
and that they turned the desert
it's clear.
bloom.
Yeah.
So after that, unfortunately, Huna Al Quds station came to an end in 1948, and they moved to Ramallah. And it became under the Jordanian government's broadcasting services. Didn't keep the name because they moved to Ramallah and became the Palestinian or the Jordanian national broadcasting service. But after 1967, of course, with the occupation of Ramallah and the West Bank, they left to Cairo with the Palestinian revolution, and from Cairo to Beirut, from Beirut to Cyprus, from Cyprus to Tunisia, and after Oslo they returned back in 1994. And nevertheless, in 2002, with the reoccupation of Ramallah, Sharon decided to destroy and demolish the Palestinian radio. So this is in a nutshell, a bit of context of the Palestinian radio on the occasion of the International Radio Day that was 2 days ago.
And just on the International Radio Show Day, or Radio Day, we should actually say that, Yusuf, this is the 15th year for Palestine Remembered.
This is his crystal anniversary.
Yes.
That's what the 15 years is.
Does it have a name?
It's called the crystal anniversary.
Really?
I wish our listeners could see Yusuf when you actually said that. That was amazing.
I'm smiling because I didn't know 15 has a name.
Yeah. Either did I, actually, but Nasser over here, Google.
Are you making it up?
I know.
Oh, good.
If I made it up, it would have been something like a wood anniversary.
A wooden or plastic.
No, it is a crystal anniversary, and
which is
we
fantastic.
should, on behalf of our listeners and 3CR, thank you for your tireless efforts for painstakingly curating a body of work in Australia for Palestine that will stand the testament of time and is a real testament to your sacrifice, effort, passion, and work. Thank you so much, Yusuf.
Thank you, Nasser, and thank you, Robert.
Well done.
I would like to say thank you to 3CR and the staff, the wonderful people of 3CR who basically embraced the idea of having a Palestinian show in English language. And I remember in the first year there was so many challenges on top of basically running a program on your own, particularly to a newly arriving migrant whose English is a second language. So there was so many more technical issues and more language issues. But I've never felt alone with the support I received from Juliet Fox, who I want to say thank you on air. From 3CR and from, I don't want to mention name and not
just
mention
Juliet.
others. So Juliet will be the ambassador of 3CR staff. Yeah. But I want to say thank you to 3CR for insisting to have a voice or a platform for Palestinians to have a voice in English language. In time, we're talking about 2004. We're talking about the peak of the second Intifada. And we're talking about... Nasser can tell us more about newspaper and maybe also you, Robert, how Australian mainstream media were covering the news of Intifada, the second Intifada.
Yeah, no, it was. So initially it was it was sympathetic. The initial reports, because the vision was so
one-sided.
So terrible.
Yeah, it would have been one-sided too.
The vision was one-sided, and it showed the brutality of the occupation.
Absolutely.
So you saw, kids throwing stones, getting shot. You saw a woman tending to her son or brother, husband, who was injured, getting arrested. The brutality of the occupation that we knew from 1967 to 87 was suddenly broadcast, whether it be 60 Minutes, Channel 9, and it was shown. Now, very quickly, the Hasbarists quickly turned it on its end. It became about terrorism. It became about
self-defense.
Yeah, self-defense, as opposed to
it's a hard pill to swallow when you can see the footage.
Well,
and that's against the Stones. Not to mention the second Intifada,
correct,
when there was more militant.
If we can go back, I think the first Intifada through to first Gaza, cast lead. People started to put their thinking caps on and saying maybe everything I've been sold isn't quite right. The 10 years of siege of Gaza, now almost 11 years, 3 Gaza operations, massacres, turkey shoots, if you will. March 30 last year, coming up on 1 year anniversary of the Land Day, Friday marches for return. Increasingly, the cat is out of the bag. Citizen journalism, Facebook, Instagram, social media, mobile phones have really, ensured that those that have a question or have some curiosity can actually get to the truth and get beyond what Channel 9 says, what 3AW says, what the Herald Sun says. So 3CR's had a huge part of it and was there from the start, so we can't thank them enough.
And also I want to thank our dear listeners who supported the program by not just by listening, but by donations. I've never felt I had a problem in reaching my target in the radiothon from year one. who basically wanted this program to continue and were ready to financially support it and to continue listening and to spread the word and to promote it. So I want to thank all our listeners. I cannot even thank them enough for the support, and even for the I remember the encouragement, which was much needed in the first year. I didn't know if I was on the right track or no. I didn't know with the hate mails that I had received. But maybe I should have done something different or things like that. But it was the good mail, the support, the encouragement that I received from our listeners.
You also know, though, with the hate mail that you're doing something right.
Yes,
which, get you out of bed in the morning and think, we're still doing this.
Yes, it's a good reminder. So on the 15th anniversary, it's not an anniversary now, but in our 15th year, I would like to thank the listeners and the staff and my lovely co-hosts now. Luckily, I have not just co-hosts, I have the best in town and in Australia. Nasser and Robert, thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you for having us. Well done.
So, what else do we have for the show, Nasser?
I'm going to teach our listeners, many of whom may have never heard of this word. I'd never heard of it. It's called generalization. And generalization is when a word becomes a verb. So nobody says, I'm going to search something. They say they're going to Google it.
Yes.
So that's where the entity becomes the or the business or the brand becomes
the verb,
synonymous with the actual action and becomes a verb in itself. So we Google, we don't search something. Yeah. Initially it was we hoover, we don't vacuum.
Yeah.
It's more an American
We
context.
Molinex, we don't make... anyway, that's a stupid example.
Well, I don't cook.
So, this is for fruit juice.
So you're onto something if you can, generalize something. Now, for a long time, we have at Palestine Remembered talked about the Zionism's conundrum, and the word that is going to be used moving forward is the trilemma, not the dilemma, which is two, the trilemma. And we've talked about Israel's desire to be Jewish, democratic, and have all of the land. It can be Jewish and democratic, but it can't have all the land. It can be democratic and have all the land, but not be Jewish. Or it can have all the land and be Jewish, but not be democratic.
You can't have it all.
You can't have it all. And we've talked about it and spoken about it, and it's, Zionism's great trilemma. The trilemma. Now, the power of radio and the power of Palestine Remembered and the efficacy of the three of us when the establishment start talking about the trilemma. And when I say the establishment, The Economist, which is 176 years, 180-year-old magazine, and this magazine bills itself as takes an editorial stance of classical and economic liberalism that supports free trade, globalism, free immigration and cultural liberalism. The publication is described as having a product of Caledonian liberalism of Adam Smith and David Hume. It targets highly educated, cultured readers and claims an audience containing many influential executives and policymakers.
This is why we read this paper, obviously.
Has just over 1 million subscribers across the world. So you really are talking about the 0.001%.
And soon it will be 1,000,002. Robert and I are going to subscribe.
It definitely seems our paper.
So, and in this magazine every week, which it comes out weekly, 51 editions a year, they talked about the conundrum, the great dilemma. Arabs may soon outnumber Jews in Israel and the occupied territories. And they're based on their forecasts. We're currently around 7 million each, and that by, between now and 2021, there'll be an absolute majority where we say it is 7.2
You're
million.
talking about the historical Palestine.
We're talking river
West
to the
Bank,
sea, river to the sea.
Gaza, Jerusalem, and Israel.
Where we want to be free. There will be, definitely by 2021, an absolute majority.
So the figures now are 7.7?
Allegedly.
Okay.
I think if you got somebody actually to count it, we'd be slightly ahead now, but without the level of conviction as they see it. Anyway, it's a very detailed graphic showing the settlements, shows the green line. I'd like to be able to show it to our listeners, but unfortunately it's behind a paywall. But the most important thing, now remembering that this magazine goes to 1 million people a week.
Decision makers.
Decision making. It targets highly educated, cultured readers and claims an audience containing many influential executives and policymakers. The last line says, the more permanent its occupation becomes, the more it risks sliding towards apartheid. Now, this is a magazine that, is...
It's monumental, this.
This is a huge shift. Yeah. A huge shift. This is not the Herald Sun, a rag that you wouldn't use to pick up your dog's feces. This is, an establishment newspaper that, is read by, the people with the levers. I'm not going to say they're good people. I'm not going to say they're great people, but the people with their hands on the levers of power. And it's not easy.
And when that magazine mentions the word apartheid,
to get to an editorial stance where the Economist says sliding towards apartheid. We know it's been apartheid for years.
Since the occupation.
We know it's been apartheid, where there's more than one type of people and more than two types of rules in one bit of dirt. That's apartheid.
That's apartheid.
But for a magazine, an editorial, to take this level of position with this level of eminence, Zionists, you must know the die has been cast.
And also, I want to remind our listeners of the New York Times article 2 weeks ago on Palestine. I think the title was "We Want to Break," or "Time to Break the Silence Over Palestine."
Yep. So we shared that with our listeners on the podcast.
And that's New York Times. Yep. So there is a shift.
We should just say on that the New York Times ran the complete and opposite article this last weekend.
Of course, there will be another backlash.
The right of reply was immediately,
of course, given.
Immediately given. So
Robert, we should be able to put a photo of this up, I think, for the listener. I think it's really important. I know that we can put a photo up for each week. We'll try and do that so the listeners can see it, because I think it's fantastic. We'll find a way.
Robert, I want to ask you about this shift, because I witnessed the shift from Palestine being a very fringe, very alien topic to the Australian listeners. And now Palestine, in 4 months in a row, Palestine made a front page story to Australian media. In October, it was the embassy shift. In November, it was the ALP vote, and in December, it was the Sarafand massacre of the Anzac, and in January, the tragedy of Aya Masarwe. So now Palestine has become more of a well-known topic to Australians. Tell me about that.
Well, I think it is. I have a bit of a disappointment with the young Israeli Arab that they call her, who got murdered. The fact that she was a Palestinian didn't get in there quite enough in the papers, as far as I'm concerned. They mentioned Israeli plenty of times, and as soon as it crossed over to the Palestinian father holding his flag, they sort of dodged around it. But I think it's becoming more palatable to talk about it. Definitely, it seems to be getting in many more newspapers and articles, and people are happy to speak about it. And I think BDS is doing a fantastic job on having people start to talk about it. So, I mean, I'm only new to this industry, as we call it an industry, or the human rights part. But, I listen to what NASA says, and you both say it does seem to be getting in many, many more places and a lot easier for people to discuss. Mm-hmm. Still a long way to go. Way to go.
But compared to where we were, we have made a few steps forward, really concrete steps forward.
And hopefully that'll, continue and snowball in the right direction, where things can change rather rapidly.
Nasser, in 1 minute, do we have any other items?
Well, we only got 1 minute.
1 minute, can you believe it?
I don't believe it, but anyway, we'll make sure
we don't believe it.
We'll give our listeners a more detailed update on BDS, but also don't forget what we spoke about last week is anti-Palestinianism. We need to make sure that people understand that denying Palestinians the right to self-determination, that denying Israel's an apartheid state, denying that the refugees to return, denying the fact that 750,000 people were ethnically cleansed. This is anti-Palestinianism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So remember, we want to stop using their words and start using our words. Reclaim the power of our language.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely.
Gentlemen, thank you for a fantastic episode.
Thank you, Yusuf, and congratulations again on your crystal anniversary.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
To all of us, and it's good to have you back, Robert, and we'll be looking forward to another episode next Saturday with the three of us, 9:30 in the morning. Until then, Robert, Nasser and Yusuf wishing you the best of time and
Salam.